Beth stirred her coffee in slow, quiet circles, watching the milk cloud dissolve into the dark. Another morning, another silence. Tom sat across from her at the kitchen table, already dressed for work, his eyes locked onto the screen of his phone. The only sound between them was the occasional clink of his spoon against the bowl. He didn't look up when he said, "You might want to pick up more detergent today." Beth nodded. "We're almost out of bread, too." Ha, ha. And that was it. 33 years of marriage had whittled conversation down to task lists and calendar logistics. Beth couldn't remember the last time Tom had asked her how she was, or what she dreamed of, or if she dreamed at all. She placed her mug in the sink, wiped the counter, and folded the kitchen towel with mechanical precision. This was the rhythm now. Clean, prepare, repeat. By 10 a.m., she had finished her morning chores and sat alone in the den, where her old art supplies still lived, untouched. Brushes, pencils, notebooks, her old sketch tablet, covered in dust, quietly aging beside her. She used to be an illustrator. Children's books, mostly. Her lines had once brought stories to life. Her name had once been printed on covers. That was a lifetime ago. Now, even her own reflection looked like someone else's story. The softness in her cheeks had been replaced by lines of waiting. Her eyes no longer lit up like they used to, because no one looked closely enough to notice. At lunch, she made a sandwich for Tom and left it in the fridge with a sticky note. "Turkey Swiss, your favorite." He didn't text back. He never did. By late afternoon, the house grew too quiet to bear. Beth slipped on a cardigan and walked to the park, the only place that still felt a little alive. She didn't walk to exercise. She walked to feel air on her skin, to hear dogs barking, to be reminded that motion still existed. She sat down on her usual bench with a paperback she'd read 3 times already, but she didn't open it. She just sat. People passed. Joggers, mothers with strollers, teenagers glued to earbuds. Then a voice. Soft, low, and unexpected. "Excuse me," the man said. Beth looked up. He was maybe 60, with gray at his temples and kind eyes that squinted in the sunlight. "I just wanted to say," he continued, "you're a woman with fire in her eyes. Not many people carry that at your age." Beth blinked. For a moment, she wondered if she'd misheard him. He smiled. Not flirtatiously, not mockingly. Just then he tipped his head and kept walking. Beth sat frozen. No one, not her husband, not her friends, not even herself, had said anything close to that in decades. Fire in her eyes. She touched her cheek, suddenly aware of the warmth there. That night, Tom came home, dropped his briefcase by the door, and said without looking at her, "Did you remember the detergent?" "I did," Beth said softly. But her voice had a strange new note in it, like a chord she hadn't played in years. Tom didn't notice, but she did. Beth lay awake in bed that night, staring at the ceiling fan, spinning above her like an old secret it refused to share. Next to her, Tom snored gently, oblivious. The same rhythm, the same posture, the same man she had shared a bed with for over 3 decades. But tonight his presence felt like the silence in a museum. A woman with fire in her eyes. The words echoed again, not as flattery, but as permission. Permission to remember that she was once someone who had sparked. The next morning, Tom reached for his coffee without a word. Beth poured it as usual, but she didn't sit across from him like she always did. Instead, she stood by the window, watching the light filter through the blinds. "Do you need anything from the store?" she asked. He didn't look up. "I'll send a list." That was all. After Tom left, Beth did something she hadn't done in years. She went to her closet, pulled down a box labeled art stuff, old, and sat cross-legged on the floor with it. Inside were sketchbooks, ink pens, dried tubes of gouache, and one hard-bound journal she didn't remember saving. She opened it. On the first page, in her own handwriting, was a quote, "The world will not notice you unless you first notice yourself." She closed the book quickly, as if it were too bright to look at, all at once. Later that day, she returned to the park. Not for the man, not really, but for the version of herself that had felt seen for the first time in years. And somehow he was there. Same bench, same smile, same kind eyes. This time, he asked, "Mind if I sit?" Beth hesitated, then nodded. "I'm Jack," he said, "retired photographer." "Beth," she said, "former artist. I sit here more than I walk." Jack chuckled. "We're both in motion then, just differently." There was a pause. Then he said, "I hope I didn't make you uncomfortable the other day." "No," Beth said, "you didn't." She looked at him. "You caught me off guard. No one said something like that to me I can't remember." Jack tilted his head. "Then someone's been sleeping on the job." Beth laughed, surprised at the sound of it. They talked for a few more minutes, about nothing and everything. Books. The leaves changing early this year. How silence can be both comforting and crushing. Before he left, Jack said, "You don't walk like someone who's given up. You walk like someone who forgot she still knows how." Beth sat there long after he'd gone, heart full and quiet, as if her soul had stretched a little and let in some light. That evening, Tom asked from the hallway, "Did you get my message about the frozen pizza?" Beth, washing a paintbrush she'd just used for the first time in a decade, replied without turning around, "I didn't check my phone today." She placed the brush gently on a towel to dry. The colors weren't right yet, but they would come. So would she. Beth woke before sunrise the next day, not because she had to, but because her mind was awake before her body filled with color. She made coffee quietly, then tiptoed into the den, the room that had once been her studio before it became a storage space for old furniture and forgotten hobbies. She turned on the lamp. The soft, amber light fell across the table where she'd left her sketch pad the night before. There, in uneven strokes of cobalt and charcoal, was the outline of a woman looking into a mirror. Half her face was clear, wide-eyed, curious, the other half blurred in hesitation. It wasn't perfect, but it was alive. She picked up the pencil again. Her hand moved slowly, but with intent, as if the part of her that had once needed to draw had only been sleeping. That afternoon, Beth posted a picture of the sketch to her long-abandoned Instagram account. No caption, no hashtags, just release. She expected nothing. But a few hours later, she saw a comment. Denali, Children's Press. Beth Ellison. Is this your new work? If so. Emily had been her editor, years ago, the one who'd fought to keep Beth's whimsical watercolors in print. Beth stared at the comment, blinking. She didn't reply. Not yet. Instead, she closed her laptop and slipped on a light scarf. The park called to her again, not for Jack, not even for inspiration, but for that part of her that felt most alive under open sky. She found Jack sitting on their now unofficial bench, camera in hand. Back again, he smiled. Beth shrugged. Seems I've gotten into a habit of chasing light. He lifted his camera. Mind if I... She waved a hand. Go ahead. Just don't expect anything glamorous. Jack snapped the shutter once, then lowered it. You don't need glamour. You've got presence. Beth looked away, uncomfortable but strangely flattered. You ever show your work? He asked. Used to, she said, before life got practical. He nodded. Practical has its place, but so does wonder. They sat in easy silence for a while. Then Beth asked, Why did you say that thing about the fire in my eyes? Jack looked out toward the lake. Because I saw it. And I've learned, when something beautiful crosses your path, you say it. People carry too many invisible gifts. Someone should name them. Beth felt something tighten in her chest, and then slowly unravel. That night, back at home, Tom was watching TV, remote in hand. Where were you this afternoon? He asked, not looking away from the screen. Beth considered lying, but she didn't. I was drawing, she said, and walking. Tom frowned. What's that supposed to mean? She didn't answer. Instead, she walked past him, into the den, and gently placed a sticky note beside her newest sketch. She forgot, but she's learning again. Beth stepped back, took it in, and smiled, half proud, half afraid. Not for how Tom would react, but because for the first time in years, she had something to lose that belonged only to her. The next few days fell into a quiet rhythm, but not the kind Beth had known for years. This rhythm was hers. Every morning, before Tom stirred, she'd brew her coffee, slip into the den, and paint. Not always with purpose, sometimes with doubt. But each stroke on the page felt like a breath she hadn't realized she'd been holding for decades. By the end of the week, she had 6 finished pieces. Women, middle-aged, older, weathered but radiant. Some with tired eyes, some smiling slightly, all of them seen, all of them carrying something beneath the surface. Sorrow, strength, stories. She posted 1 sketch a day to her Instagram, quietly, privately. And yet, people noticed. A message came in from Emily, her former editor. Beth, your work still carries magic. We're reviving our classic children's line and want to include legacy artists. Would you consider meeting? Beth stared at the screen, stunned. Yes, yes. That evening, she met Jack at the cafe across from the park. He was already there, a mug of tea steaming in front of him. You're glowing, he said. Beth laughed. Must be the caffeine. He tilted his head. Or maybe. She looked down, touched the rim of her cup. I was offered a meeting, she said, to illustrate again. Jack nodded, eyes kind. Say yes. I already did. For a long moment, they said nothing, just sat in quiet knowing. Then Beth asked, Do you ever feel guilty? About feeling alive again when someone else might still expect you to stay small? Jack exhaled. My ex once said I stopped showing up emotionally. She was right, but we both let it happen. Growth feels selfish when someone else hasn't started their own. Beth nodded slowly. Hasn't grown in years. I just kept shrinking to fit. That night, when she got home, Tom was in the kitchen, arms crossed. Who's Jack? The question hit the air like a slap. Beth didn't flinch. He's a photographer, a friend, someone I talk to. Tom's voice sharpened. I don't like the sound of that. Beth looked him straight in the eye. You haven't asked me a real question in years, Tom. You haven't wondered how I feel, what I miss, what I want. You just assume I'm here. Because I've always been here. He opened his mouth to argue, then stopped. Beth stepped closer, her tone calm even. I'm not having an affair, but I am having a revelation. Tom blinked. What does that even mean? It means, she said, I'm no longer disappearing quietly. She turned and walked toward the den. Behind her, Tom didn't follow.
She picked up her brush, sat before her easel, and dipped into a pot of red, bold, unapologetic. On a blank canvas, she painted a woman in motion. Hair swept back, arms loose, head tilted upward as if catching light no one else could see.
When she signed her name at the bottom, it wasn't tentative. It was declaration.
Beth Ellison.
The sun was barely up when Beth received the email.
We'd love to feature your work in our upcoming community gallery event. Theme: Women in Transition. She stared at the subject line like it might vanish, then read it again, and again. Tom shuffled into the kitchen behind her. You're up early, he muttered.
Beth closed her laptop gently. I've been painting. He pulled the milk from the fridge. Another hobby now?
She didn't answer. She didn't need to.
The gallery was small, just the back of a locally owned bookstore, but the walls gleamed with color and story.
Beth's paintings hung along the far side. 6 women, each caught mid-moment, looking out windows, walking alone, standing in water, rising.
She titled the collection. She reappeared.
Jack came, of course, standing quietly in the corner while Beth talked with guests. He didn't hover. He didn't need to.
Leah arrived next. Her daughter, 31, busy and skeptical of anything sentimental. But as she stood in front of a painting of a woman staring at her own reflection, Leah whispered, "Mom." Beth smiled. "It's all of us." Leah turned to her. "I wish I'd seen you sooner."
Beth touched her hand. "So do I. But I'm here now."
And then Tom appeared. He wore a sport coat, a little wrinkled. He stood stiffly, uncertain, scanning the room like a guest at someone else's party. Beth walked toward him, calm and grounded. He looked at the painting titled Unseen, a grayscale figure at the dinner table, her form fading around the edges. Tom's jaw tightened. "Is that supposed to be me?" Beth tilted her head. "It's supposed to be us when we stopped looking." He swallowed hard. "I didn't know you were unhappy." "I wasn't," she said. "I was invisible." He looked lost for a moment. Then, quietly, Beth offered a soft, sad smile. "You can start by seeing me. Not the wife, not the cook, not the woman who answers your dry cleaning questions. Me." Tom nodded, but she could tell he didn't fully understand. "Not yet." And that was okay. This time, she wasn't waiting. That night, Beth lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, not in numbness, but in awareness. The ceiling hadn't changed. The room hadn't changed. But she had. And no matter who did or didn't see it, the world would soon know. She was no longer someone who sat quietly on the edge of her life. She was the one holding the brush. The workshop flyer read, "Drawing from Within, a creative space for women over 50 rediscovering themselves." Underneath, in elegant serif font,
Instructor, Beth Ellison.
Beth stood at the front of the cozy studio, surrounded by a dozen women, some shy, some curious, a few who hadn't held a pencil in years. She welcomed them, not as a teacher, but as a fellow traveler.
"I'm not here to teach you how to draw," she said gently. "I'm here to remind you that you're still here."
In the weeks since the gallery show, Beth's world had widened. Her mornings now began not with silence, but with color. Her afternoons, sometimes with laughter. Leah would drop by to sketch beside her. And some evenings, Jack would stop by after his walk, bringing fresh coffee or a new poem scribbled in his notebook.
They didn't define their relationship. They didn't need to.
Beth had no desire to trade one role for another. This wasn't about romance. It was about resonance. Tom had changed too, subtly. He washed his own clothes now, made his own appointments. Sometimes he asked how her work was going. Sometimes he listened. But Beth no longer waited for him to notice her. That power had returned to where it always belonged. On the last day of the workshop, each woman presented one piece they had created. Tears were shared. So was laughter. Beth saved hers for last. She unveiled a self-portrait, not from a mirror, but from memory. A woman with streaks of gray in her hair, shoulders relaxed, eyes steady. Behind her, layered silhouettes of who she had once been. Young artist, exhausted mother, silent wife, grieving woman. In front of her, blank space, undefined. Open. The title, Becoming. The room stood still, then applause, soft, honest, full.
That night, Beth stood on the porch of her small studio, coffee in hand, a shawl around her shoulders.
The stars were out. She breathed them in. Tom stepped outside, quiet, hesitant.
"I read your interview," he said, "the one in the paper, about how you used to feel invisible."
Beth looked at him, calm. "I'm glad you read it." He nodded slowly. "I'm sorry I didn't see you." She gave him a long, kind look. You weren't the only one. They stood there in silence. No bitterness, no blame. Just two people, once tangled in habit, now standing on their own ground. "Do you want to come back inside?" he asked. She smiled. "In a minute." He nodded and walked in.
Beth looked up once more.
She whispered, not to the stars, not to the man inside, but to herself, "I am here." And this time, the whole world seemed to answer back, "Yes, you are."